دوستان عزیز لطفاً اگه میشه تشریف بیارید. ساعت 7 که بتونید برنامه رو شروع کنید.
من شاگرد کردم منم بشم من با سفر کنم
خب سلام همگی، خیلی خوش آمدید. قبل از هر چیز فرار رسیدن سال رو همتون تبریک میگم. خیلی خوشحالم که اینجایی. به من زهراست، من از اعضای جدید بورد انجمن سوتا هستم. امروز مهمان عزیز داریم آقای ارجمند پارسا. من خیلی سریع بایوی ایشون رو از روی وبسایت سایت من میخونم. البته خودشون قطعا معرفی بهتر از خودشون خواهند داشت. Arjun is the Chief Product and Technology Officer of Site Group. He has spent the last decade developing and executing plans at HPE, Microsoft, and Amazon. During his time at Amazon, he led their customer solutions, architects, and go-to-market plans for 35 plus services, driving a revenue increase from 0.3 billion to 1.2 billion in 36 months. Prior to entering the enterprise tech space, he was a software engineer before doing his MBA in Manchester, and then founder of a tech consultancy in Canada that served clients including American Express, Microsoft Canada, and CIBC. Please join me in welcoming Arjun.
صدا بلنده من مایکروفون نمی‌کنم. جدی میگم. I have been presenting as a public speaker for 20 years. I've been doing it in English, so it's pretty hard to do the course. Is there anybody who speaks only English? No? So if I do both languages, I'm going to get confused. بعضی خیلی باهوشن که مثلا میتونن سویشون صحبت. بعضی مثل من نیستن، باهوش نیستن، دکتر قاطی و مثلا باید تلفنی حرف بزنم فارسی برگردم همکارم انگلیسی حرف بزنم حتما قاطی. خلاصه گفتم که بدون این وسطش. So today, do I need microphone?
Yeah, it's better.
So today we were talking about what kind of topic we're going to cover. And then there were some ideas, but one of them was real world experiences about AI projects. Everybody talks about it. I was flying to Europe for business, and there was a family beside me. The kid was 10 years old, and he was talking about AI. And obviously, he didn't have any ideas. I don't have any ideas, but we use it. But today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through some principles about what AI project is, not from academic perspective, just from experience perspective. And then I'm going to explain some of those principles, probably two or three of them, because we have limited time. Then I'm going to go through some real world examples, like this project we did for Microsoft, for Walmart, for Amazon, for education industry. So these are all different examples that I'm gonna give to you. Hopefully it's gonna be useful. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, everybody's doing this. That makes sense. One area is I have seen a lot of people starting AI project just for the sake of this, just for the sake of AI. It's interesting, it's exciting, it's a new technology, right? But not always it makes sense. There are much easier, simpler solutions. AI is not the solution for everything. So the first thing is, what problem are you going to solve? How are you going to add value to the customer, or society, or human being? This is the number one topic or principle that we need to think about. I've seen many people that just jump into AI project without even understanding what problem they can solve. We're going to give you some examples. And the second one is your data is biased. I haven't seen any project that data is not biased. I'm going to give you some examples. The data cleansing, making sure your data is not biased, and I'm going to explain to you what I mean by the data is biased. And then, of course, what's the value? What are you going to bring into the table? But let's just start with data is bias in data. I'm going to give you one example. Do you know what do I mean by bias in data? You know? Right. Okay, good. And by the way, you can interrupt me if you have any questions. Yeah. Go ahead.
Like the project we did criminal justice, AI criminal justice in court cases, and then the AI was racist too.
That's true, because your data, AI was not racist. The data was basically. That's a great example. The other example we had. That's actually a great example. I should have talked to you. So I was at HP, and the HR, they said they're gonna come up with new program for the employees, and the new layout of the floor based on working products. They said, okay, you know what? It was many years ago. It was 15 years ago when we started. They said, okay, you know what? We're gonna use data. We're gonna use machine learning. It's gonna give us a lot of information. So that's great. So we started doing it, and we did. And the project was actually very successful based on the data we have and based on the machine learning model we created to make sure the employees they have comfort based on the working hours, based on all the benefits they get, all this stuff good. But the problem was 87% of that data belonged to me. So it was the company failed to bring comfort to female, to just bring comfort to male because data was biased. Right? There's so many other examples around it as well. That was another example of bias. Do you know any other example? No? Yes.
Well, I was actually thinking about, I read a case study that there was a large enterprise company who was trying to create a machine learning model to predict churn.
Yeah.
They were able to do that, but not the reason why. So that left the customer success team kind of wondering like, okay, well, we have a couple of enterprise companies that are churning,
Right.
but they couldn't get the actual reason why. So bias aside, is probably just like a flaw in the way that the data was supposed to be.
That's true. Absolutely true. I was in Canada. There was a project for Canadian immigration, and it was a project again. There was a problem statement of simplifying the process. And we helped them. We helped them as a consultant. But the data they had belonged to different time frame that they didn't have immigrants from the Middle East at that during that time. So the process was basically biased towards Eastern European. So make the immigration easier for Eastern European people, not people from all other places. And government of Canada thought they did a great job. Yeah, based on that data, you did a great job. But no, you didn't, because your data was biased. Finding the right problem statement is another thing. I'm gonna give you an interesting, of course, I think you know football, you know Real Madrid club. I was at Microsoft and I was involved in a project for Real Madrid. We went to, it was fun, we went there, I really enjoyed it. And we went there, they said there was a problem. They said, well, the problem is we don't know when the team is going to win and when the team is going to lose. So, okay, that's very generic. What do you want me to do? And then we started talking and having the discussion. And one of the coach assistants said, you know, the players are not predictable, are not consistent. And I said, okay, that sounds like a problem statement. Tell us more. He said, well, we practice 2 months or 1.5 months and all that. And then all of a sudden we see the person, the football player, playing great. All of a sudden we go to the game and the performance is so low and we lose. Because of just one person, because it's high competition. And then we said, okay, let's get the data. They have a lot of it. From health psychologists that they have different doctors, they have survey every day, when they come to the practice, so we use all of that. So we create a model. It doesn't matter what they use, it was random versus some other stuff, but that doesn't matter. Based on that data, we did a good job because the accuracy was based on statistics. But in the real world, it didn't work. Whatever we predict, was not really useful. And it wasn't me and 2 of my team members, we were sitting and talking. And one of them was a Spanish. He was from Spain. He was reading the news and he said, oh man, that player, it belonged to another club. He got sued for the tax. That's why he didn't play properly. And we were drinking some I can't remember what kind of alcohol was it. Then we looked at it. So okay, hold on a second, say that again. He said, yeah, that person got the case for tax. And he has been involved in the tax situation in Spain. So it has been 2 months, his performance in football is low. And then we said, okay, you know what? Whatever data we have internally, let's get data from Twitter, Facebook news for each player and the hashtags for each player. And then interlop with the data we have internally. We found actually external data is more valuable than internal data to predict the performance of the player. We usually, it's our comfort zone. Whatever project we want to do, we look at our internal data. We don't look at external data, what is out there. But usually, when you internalize external data, your internal data, that is going to give you a lot of meaningful prediction or recommendation, whatever engine you're using. So anyways, we basically interlock it. And then we trained them in JN and started using it. And we came back a couple of months after. They came to us and they said, that was a huge success. And then they invited us back, and then we met the team, the coach and his assistants. They were so happy. Of course, it was not perfect, but it was, I can't remember the percentage of accuracy, but it was really helpful and useful. Because if they have marriage problem, they have problem with kids, lawsuits, family issues, or friend issues, whatever happened outside is actually had more impact. There was another project we did. Hamid is here. I'm not going to ask him to come over here, but he has a PhD in AI, and he has been always my right hand. And usually we say, I lie, he proves it. He's a technical person. So there was another project that he did a great job at Easting for in education industry that never done for international students. And that was the magic that with interlocking external, the data coming from the government, US government, Canadian government, UK government, and from universities, and the data we have from the company. So what it was is, when a student, international student, applied for application, what's the problem? The problem is they cannot apply for thousands of programs in UK, Canada, US, all different. It costs them a lot. So they choose based on what they like and what they hear from each other, right? So what happens is, on one hand, the student is going to get rejected in the last minute, and he or she is going to miss the boat to apply for another program. It's too late. On the other hand, the school is running the business, right? The school is selling the seat. That's what they do. Forget that education, it's like, it's all about educating the board and educating. It's not that. It's selling. It's like airlines. They sell the seat. That's their business. So some schools, they have a capacity of 80 people, and they have 5,000 people in the room. And some programs, it was understaffed. They had so many empty seats. So the problem was on both sides. So what we did was, we combined all of those external data with internal data, and we built the prediction of visa acceptance. That was the first time in the whole industry. I mean, we got the two awards in Canada. So basically, the student put the application profile, apply to the country or program. So the system says, well, you have 30% chance to get visa, but 80% chance to get acceptance. So probably it's not a good idea. For the other student was, yeah, you have 80% chance of getting visa, but 20% chance of getting acceptance. And then we created the next model, which was basically giving recommendation. Because we knew, based on the data we have from the schools from internal, what other programs have more availability. So from the beginning, the student has access to the right program to get acceptance with much lower cost. That was basically all about. But that was the example of merging the data, interlocking data, external and internal. And in the majority of cases, I've seen people just look at the internal data. Any questions? Is it useful?
Actually, I have a question. What is the name of the company that started, or what is?
Oh, Applied Board.
Oh,
Yeah, affordable. Is in, Waterloo. Yeah, it's true. There was this is I can give this is the list of, some projects that we have done. I can go through them and give you some idea of what happened, what's the problems and what happened. Let me talk about Microsoft operations. I worked with background German when we were at Microsoft there. Microsoft operations had a huge problem. Whatever they have been doing, they couldn't meet SLA. They would be supporting MCS, MCS is Microsoft Consulting Services, for licensing people have insurance, so on and so forth. So the problem was, you looked at the data, the problem was, in many cases, you have people leave the customer service and new people coming in. It has a term, learning curve. And some people have expertise in some area, some people have some other area. But even that, Microsoft tried to use a keyboard and fix it, and match it. So we said, okay, based on that, we use the random forest to actually fix that issue. But what we did was we trained the machine learning. We looked at 8 years of data to understand who is passionate to close what kind of case. And then we added sentiment analysis to the case to how angry is the person is. If the person is the angry, sentiment analysis is actually the person is really angry, we basically put it higher in the favor of the automatic based on the sentiment analysis. And then there was another API. So yeah, if you are aggressive with the email notification, then you get the response. And then the routing system, we created a routing system. And we actually got that. We got that trademark. But anyway, the routing system was based on who in the last 7, 8, 5 years knows what kind of cases within this. So the employees of operations, they were getting exact cases that they love to work. They are passionate about those kind of problems. And that improved, the first phase improved operations SLA by 32%. In the second phase was like almost more than 80% of everybody was meeting this. There was same number of employees, same number of cases coming to Microsoft, but the fix was just putting that machine learning into to make sure people get what they love to work. That was Microsoft operations. Amazon Macy, I worked for Amazon for 5 years. Amazon Macy, we started Amazon Macy because we had this issue. And so we actually wanted to solve it. I worked actually at AWS, but we solved it for Amazon. Like what everything Amazon did, we start doing it internally and then we start selling like S3 bucket. And it just basically started the S3 bucket just to help all the images and the storage they needed at that time for Amazon. And then he came to Jeff Bezos and said, we can make it as a business. And then they started making the whole AWS. The first product for AWS was S3. S3 is the storage. So what was the problem? The problem is you go, any company you are in, Amazon included, one of those companies, you go through ISO, SOC 2, all of those compliances that you shouldn't have private PII information or private, the personal information in your database. If you have it, you have to basically encrypt the database on rest or on transit. You should do all of that, right? Okay, great. But what happens? if I, as a customer, upload my credit card, what happens if I attach my social security number, the picture of my social security number, my email? You cannot monitor every single, you cannot monitor every single upload. And there's so many other channels to bring all those pictures and images and all those information. It can be created, it can be anything, right? And Amazon was in the critical point because they had so much content. So we said, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a service which is was under Guard Duty. AWS Amazon Guard Duty is a service from Amazon from the US. So that was basically based on machine learning, was going through all the images and then flag them. Hey, this one has social security number. This one looks like credit card. This one looks like your driver's license. This one looks like this and that and that. And then save the company, save Amazon for the whole ISO compliances. And then you start selling it. That was one of the services on my team. I had 38 services when I was at AWS. And that was one of them, which at the beginning they started charging actually very low, and that was one of the largest businesses. That one of the fastest growing business in the whole AWS capital. So again, what's the problem statement and what's the ROI? What kind of business value? And now it's available for everyone. The first bullet point you see is Facebook. I'm gonna tell you about that project. Many years ago, I did it for fun with a couple of my friends. We found, which is related to data importance, bias in data. We found data from Facebook. And don't ask me how we got it, I cannot tell you, but we got it. It was a lot of fields about people, like the height and, especially about people. And we were saying that person is attractive or not. That was it, that was the data. And we said, okay, it was based on some survey or whatever. It was many years ago, it was like 14 years ago. And then we said, that's fine. Let's create machine learning, and then we start asking questions and upload the picture, then we're going to tell you how attractive you are. And then we did. And we started making money in Facebook because we created our own page. It was good money, to be honest. It was exciting when we had a lot of people. People were just keep doing it, and we were making money out of advertising on Facebook. Majority of cases was wrong because the data belonged to some part of Europe. So even if you're attractive, but you're from Africa, how are you going to say you're not attractive? Because the data, the way we trained the machine learning, again, the data was biased. Data was not, or even some part of, let's say, from some East Asian country, right? Anyways, that was one of the projects we did it for fun. I think at one point we were making, the Alberto was making like $5,000 to $7,000. And then we stopped it because, it makes sense. But that was another project. There is another thing too. Actually, now I see the fraud detection. The other habit that I have seen in the last 15, 20 years. By the way, I've been in this industry for 29 years. And I've been, 29 years. But in the last 20 years, 18 years, that machine learning was coming out and different discussion. Everybody wants to build everything from zero, especially technical people, because it's exciting, which is absolutely wrong, which is really wrong. There are so many examples. Innovation today is not if you build it by yourself. Think about it, like iPhone. What part of iPhone was innovation? Phone was there, MP3 player was there, touch screen was there, application was there, everything was there. Multitasking operating system was there, connecting to Bluetooth was there, connecting to internet was there. The way that Apple and Steve Jobs, they put these building blocks together to build a new product, that was the innovation. Otherwise, the rest of it, everything was out there. Electric car, Tesla. In 1920, Mr. Porsche built the first electric car. And it was he was from Croatia, but he did it in Germany. He moved to Germany, he did it. And the speed was 19 kilometers per hour or 20 kilometers per hour, something like that, because the battery was heavy. And you know what he did? He built hybrid car. At that time, 1920s or 1930s, it was battery and the engine. And then the speed of that car went up to 30-something kilometers per hour, 35, but it was not the right time. So then you look at it, so what Tesla really did? What was the innovation from Tesla? The major innovation they did was you cannot store AC in the battery. You can store only DC. The motor has high power when you have AC. They added DC converter to AC, which was not an innovation either, has been out there forever. That's it, it's the battery, DC, AC converter, and the motor. That's it. That was the innovation, putting all those building blocks together to build the final product that is really helpful. So I was actually in the same education industry. I was talking to them. One of the major problems was when international students they submit their application, they send they lie. They create many of them, especially in countries like Iran, Bangladesh, India. You know what country, they pay money to get, or they Photoshop the transcript, they pay money to get the transcript, or something like that. Yeah. Or even they put the transcript from somebody else and just change the name. And then there was a team which I started talking to them. They said, yeah, we're working on the fraud detection. I said, okay. They said, yeah, we're building it. I said, why are you building it? They said, well, we need it. I said, I understand you need fraud detection for transcripts, documents, and all that. My question is, why are you building it? GCP, Google Cloud, and Amazon, they have fraud detection. They have 200 engineers behind them. And I told him you have only 2 or 3. So you cannot compete with them. All you need to do, collect your data, cleanse your data, and just train that API for yourself and start using it. You're going to have it in 2 months, and you're going to have much faster go-to-market in compared to you build it for yourself. And you're going to maintain it for you rather than you maintain it for yourself. Because you're not going to have budget or funding to maintain the same API. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of cost for business. So one of the problems that I have seen in the whole AI discussion, that everybody wants to build by themselves. No, just use whatever is out there. And there are so many great things about it that we can use it. So we started using it, and then we built that function. We actually built the natural language search in that education industry too. That was the first time in that industry too. We started using it. I have more examples. Any more questions? Am I doing good or no? Yeah, I'm doing good. So that's what nobody has questions. Very interesting, very interesting. Okay. And another great project. It was me and I had a colleague at AWS. His name is Khaled. He's from India. Now he's the chief product officer of Neil. We were peers at Amazon and AWS, and we were talking, and we were saying, how can we build a better code review for our developers, our engineers? Because the code review, when you have human being in the task, there's a chance of human error. And when you put people to do the code review, let's say you guys are buddies, you say, oh, you did a great job, and you say you did a great job, and then the code review is going to fail, but the friendship is the same. We respect the friendship, but we want the quality of code goes up too, right? So we said, well, why don't we build something to do the code review for us? And we said, at Amazon, we have millions and millions of lines of code, especially some languages like Java or JavaScript. So okay, this is something. So then we started basically creating that machine learning for internally to the coding, because we couldn't trust. We continue to do code review for each other. I'm not saying not all the time, but it happens. And then we build it. We build it internally for AWS. So any team, they build something. Of course, they keep the code review culture, which was really great. I'm kidding. I'm teasing. There's so many learning. You do your coding, and I look at your code and learn something. Oh, that's how you solve this functional problem. But basically, we call the code group. And then after solving it, we basically started selling it to our customers, and we call it code group. And then we started, it was actually good business too. These are the examples that made it ready. We talked about and after minutes, 40 minutes, I don't know, I see that. 37 minutes, it's 40 minutes. So I have more examples, but I'm here if you have any questions, any other things that you are interested in. Yes.
Can that document fraud detection also be applicable to resumes as well? Like, do you see how companies could possibly do something about that?
Yeah, that's a great point. I haven't done it. But I think right now, I'm just just brainstorming, right? You ask the question, just come to my head as a solution, what we can do. I think the first step is use API, GCP. That includes is called document AI, and there is an extract function in it. It reads the document perfect in some different languages, but English is one of them. It reads English really good, and maybe that should be a start.
Because what I was trying to lead to was, verifying employment dates, verifying titles, and everything like that, making sure it's accurate. Somebody could just say, I worked at X company for, X amount of time to Y amount of time. Like, unless they actually call the company and verify, is there another alternative that could possibly keep integrity at the center of all this?
What part of it do you think you need AI? Because I can, let me tell you what I'm thinking, and I asked that. I can call that API. Well, that API is based on declared text. And then I can take it, I can call the API from LinkedIn. I can compare the job title, dates, and everything. There is another API from you're talking about US or global. Let's say US.
Let's see.
In US, federal government has an API. Actually, they have that API, which was the API, that you can call that API that gives you the work history as well. So the outside of the document, I see you call API and compare the data.
Right.
Anything else you want to check that you need AI outside of that?
That's sort of the version I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, good.
We have another conversation on LinkedIn about that stuff later.
Let's say, yeah, that's a good startup. We can start that company, call it Resume Proof.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll take that.
right, okay. Right.
There's a website, it's called, and, basically, I went to this, my friend is the president of informatics, and,
Oh, there you go.
yeah, so she took me to this meeting, and it was these 4 guys from informatics, and they made this website called Refer Me, and you basically submit your resume, and it goes straight to the inbox of whatever at Amazon, straight to the inbox of a bunch of people who work at Amazon. If they like your application, your resume, then they'll refer you, and if you get hired, then they get the bonus. And then it has like an AI in it that tells you like for the specific job you want, how you can do your resume. So I feel like if they can do that.
How does it decide which Amazon employee to do?
I think it goes to multiple inboxes.
Okay, so just pretty much.
Yeah, but like the people that work at Amazon will sign up for the 30 as well.
Oh,
So it goes both ways, yeah.
I think Glassdoor has something similar to it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
Lapcore doesn't have the best integrity.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a great idea. I mean, the whole fraud in every industry, fraud is a big deal. So if you solve even a portion of in any industry, you can start your startup. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Example of Microsoft operations, you
Yes.
mentioned that we had the data on, like, what those, let's say, resources we're more passionate about. solving, right? So, what if you have a high education rate and then your resources keep changing? So how would that data help?
I don't, well, customer support usually they have mine. Nobody calls customer service.
Nobody's passionate to solve their
Yeah,
problem.
you call customer service when you're angry, mad, something is wrong, and you want to give shit to that person. Simple. You call the customer services, all of us. That is the learning curve of an onboarding program. I'm digesting your question to see how is I completely understand.
Are you saying that creates data bias because there's high attrition? So, it's not
Yeah.
a problem and they disappear, so. So I mean, that data won't be helpful, I think, because by the time that, there is a confusion about like,
Oh,
wait, this is
the
the
person
recommendation,
that-
the person's already on.
Oh, no, so I missed one step, one important step. Thanks for asking. One thing we did, instead of putting each employee as one side of that machine learning, we use cluster and we basically define persona for customer service employees. So let's say 30 people are here. And based on the problem everybody saw, we clustering, we said, okay, you treat cluster A, these 4 cluster B, because they have been solving similar problem in the same similar way within this. And that was basically the whole thing. So basically we went with the persona. So let's say if you read Somebody just comes in, after 1 month, you understand what persona.
You put them in that context.
Yeah, well, we don't do it manually, it goes on there because you train your machine learning every so often, every month, or, right? And that was basically the key part. It was not for each person, but this is for the persona. And then we had Q for the persona. They were picking up the, cases from the Q of that person. It was not per person. Thanks for asking. You see, I'm getting old on my books. Yes.
So AI is the start of the day. There is no day passing by that we
Yeah.
do not hear from left and right, radio, newspapers, everywhere talking about it. And with that can come a lot of people who are novice in AI, but claim to be knowing everything about AI and do crazy things.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of your talk, you mentioned that you are going to talk about the few examples that there's no need for AI, just for the sake of, whatever sexiness of AI, they throw it in. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, one example was the resume we talked about. We need AI for the rest of the process right now, but there were so in. Let me organize my thoughts. There was a project we did for Ford Motor Company. You want an example? The example is good, right? In many cases, not in many cases, in some cases, because AI is a buzzword, people spend time and just doing the AI. But if you look at the data, and you can probably fix it by query or just if a statement, it's going to work well, and it's going to be probably faster. We did a project for Ford Motor Company, and there was one area of the project was basically what do you call it when there's something wrong with the car, you call back. What do you call it? It is something. What?
Recall?
Recall, yeah. The recall of Ford Motor Company. Do you know where is the customer support of Ford Motor Company? It's actually very interesting. It's in Melbourne, Florida, and then in Philippines. That's their customer service. So we went there. We started talking, and of course, it was one of the consultants they wanted to basically build it. They started a lot of prediction, all that, and then it was me and some of the people who looked at the data. We said, "Why are you making it so complicated?" If you look at the data, if you look at the recall process, basically that can easily come from the first 10 problem, then you can basically do the investigation. I don't have any other example right now in mind, but yeah, there has been many situations, but let me think while they're here. Yeah, if I remember something, I'll say. Thank you. Any other question, anything I missed? Yes.
My question is more about your business, I guess, as a consultant. Like, how do you go after some of these works, or how do you find them, and how do you
On the projects.
I guess, and how do you establish your connections and continue your connections with all these different companies?
I'm not a consultant.
Oh, as part of, maybe I misunderstood one part you said.
The company I had, the
Yes.
consulting company?
Yes.
Yeah, I had the consulting company in Toronto for 6.5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
And the name was Toronto Software Consultants. It was I call it TSC, Toronto Software Consultants. And Tata actually contacted me. They said we cannot use it because they were using TSC.
I see.
And we listened to them, and they because I was so small. how basically the sales motion for consulting, right? Is that
Yes.
at the beginning, I basically I hired another person, a company, and give them a good, check. I said, you know what, I give you 30%. I think the first one was 40%. I said, you give me a project, I give you the 40%, you do nothing. Nothing, so I give you 40% of TCD, total contract value. And they loved it. They brought me the first project. Oh, I have one condition too, it must be referenceable. Then I give you 40%. And they brought me the first project, which was Microsoft Canada. So the search for Microsoft Canada, finding partners, events, and everything, it was my company did it for Microsoft Canada. So I use that as a reference. So reference is the key. Reference is the key. Then I use it as a reference. I got my second project from Ontario Medical Association. Ontario Medical Association is a union, is a union for doctors. And we did so many projects there. The key to keep that relationship, to be honest, was being transparent and very honest. So it happened several times that my team, excuse my language, was we effed it up. We did. And I didn't cover it. I went to the CIO, I said, that was a mistake. I'm not going to charge you for this part. I'm going to work the whole weekend. I'm going to fix it. Basically, earning trust. That was number one. And then there was an agency. They gave us the next project, which was AECL. You know what AECL is? Atomic Energy of Canada Limited. And the project was nuclear waste management system. And I was born in Iran. So I went to Chalk River. So the headquarters of AECL is in Mississauga, if you know Toronto. I went to Chalk River. They have a nuclear station for biological purposes. And they said, you have to bring it. That's part of the IMG. They didn't know. So I went there, my team went there, and I introduced myself as the head of marketing, chief marketing. It was my company. Went there, they checked the passport. So he was born in Iran. I said, well, yes. They said, well, you're gonna put 2 bodyguards. Not bodyguard to protect me, protect everyone against, And then, one of them was with the I still remember with the gray outfit, police outfit. You see the Canadian airport too. And the other one was just black. But the gray one had gone, the other one didn't. They even came with me, the toilet. And they said, you cannot close the door. Yeah, but after a couple of days, they started laughing. I said, I'm okay. You're not going to. What's that? It's online broadcasting. And then, no, this is a true story. And this is the process they do, which is fine. Which is absolutely fine. I honestly, I think answering your question, that was the other part. I didn't take anything personal. I said, you know what? That's your process. That's your rule. I respect that. Fine. And then after some days, they started being friends, and they saw I'm solving the problem. But that was another project we did. Then they were my reference. We got CIBC, Royal Bank, some.
During that period, did you have any repeat clients?
Any?
Repeat clients, like
Oh, yeah.
you did
yeah.
a project for them and they came back a while afterwards and
Yeah,
they said, we like your work, here's another project.
yeah, the one Ontario Medical Association, one neighborhood one. The CIBC was long term. American Express you call American Express and then they tell you, let's say you call for a problem, right? The whole loyalty system, and they tell you based on, that was actually beta with the machine learning at that time. It tells the person, the agent, that hey, we have an offer for you. Have you called the customer support and they say they have an offer for you? That was what we built for American Express. And still they're using it. Yeah, they came back. So they are actually their IT department is in Markham, Toronto, and their headquarters was in Phoenix. Yeah, yeah, it was actually fun. The other thing, if you are thinking about building, are you thinking about doing it?
Not at the moment, but I'm just gathering information.
It's actually fun. I remember when I did it, it was, for whatever reason, I got excited about RFID. The RFID radio frequency. I guess. Okay, next is good catch. This broadcasting too. So Sana is good. So they know. So it was, and I said, okay, I want to do RFID project. And I put it on the website and all that. They contacted me from milk.org. Milk.org, they transport milk across Canada. The project was, we need RFID to track drivers. And I said, why do you want to track them? They said, because they lie. They go, for example, they know how long it's going to take from this station to that station. They know the speed, they know the distance, and they know how much you're going to take a break, how many times you're going to go to the toilet. They know all of it, right? But they lie. And they say, oh, we didn't get to the point. We didn't get to that gate. They say, okay, we're going to put RFID reader. You read it. So they gave me that project. I said, well, you know, we're going to do proof of concept. And then we did the proof of concept, which was fun because there's a lot of questions. What kind of tag you're going to put it on the truck? That the knowledge of the truck driver is not going to hack you. They're not going to be created to hack you or something like that. And it's going to be okay for bad weather, for snow, for rain, you know, so on and so forth. Yeah, if you do it, that's fun. That's actually really fun. I had it for 6.5 years. Yeah, it was. At one time, I had almost 15 people contracted. Yeah, and it was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then HP. God bless Doug Lori. My wife is here. She knows Doug Lori. He was at HP the Senior VP of Americas. Oh, that's fun. That's a fun part. Because I didn't have overhead, my price was much cheaper than HP or any big consultant. They were losing against me for those prices. CIBC was they lost against me. There were some other. So he called me. Doug Lori called me. He said he has an accent from North Carolina, and he was a Navy SEAL, retired Navy SEAL, and I love him. He was one of the best men. He was a gift from the mother nature. He called me. He said, "Hey, listen, we cannot buy your company because it's going to be a long process. But I'm going to give you an offer that you're going to have a smile on your face. And you'll bring your customers to HP." And I said, okay. I said, and then he hung up. I said, well, you didn't ask me how much I want. He didn't ask me anything. He said, I'm gonna give you an offer, not buying the company. Offer. And he was right. He gave me an offer that I had really good smart. And I accepted the offer, and then I stopped the company. I brought all of those customers to HP, completed the contract, and then I was the GM, general manager for the HP enterprise for Canada. And we started almost from zero to $34 billion revenue in 2 years in Canada. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope it was useful. Let me miss the next.
ما برید اسلاید اول یه چیزی رو باید
Oh, yes.
لطفا تشریف داشته باشید که تا
Oh, that's so nice. Inshallah.
خیلی ممنون. خیلی ممنون از همه دوستان، از دوستان علوفه خیلی خواست تشکر می‌کنیم برای همه زحماتی که می‌کشن دارو برای ما آماده می‌کنن و پذیرایی و اینا. امروز البته همسر ارجن تجارت ما رو شیرینی‌ها و اینا رو بفرمایید. من عرضی ندارم، سال نو رو به همه تبریک میگم. عرضم جهت اطلاعاتون بورد جدید سوتای سیاتل تشکیل شده و از این امسال دیگه این بورد جدید که کار رو دستشون میگیره از بورد قبلی به چند نفرشون تو بورد جدید هستن تشکر میکنیم. خانم رضوی از بورد قبلی اینجا هستن. موجگان هم امروز نبودن ولی اونا تو بورد قبلی بودن، تو بورد جدید نیستن. هومن بودن پاشید هومن و برنا و زهرا در مورد 4 نفر دیگه که الان نیستن. شما این بورد جدید در خدمت شماست. ایده‌هاتون رو بیارید، نظری دارید مطرح بکنید که با هم دیگه بتونیم این گروه رو فعالتر رو برای خودتون مفیدتر بکنید. در ضمن از حضور دکتر پرتوی و همسر گرانقدرشون محبت کرده بودم با قبلم تشریف داشتم برای اونایی که نمیشناسن. دکتر پرتوی من همیشه میگم کارمند شماره 2 دانشگاه سنتی شهید بعد از دکتر مشتهدی. ایشون جزو اولین کسایی بودن که همراه دکتر مشتهدی دانشگاه رو بنیاد گذاشتن. رفتن بقیه استادها رو جمع کردن، کوریکولوما رو جمع کردن و درست کردن. خلاصه ما واقعا مفتخریم که حضور ایشون در سیاتل و اینکه زحمت کشیدن تشکر بکنم در این برنامه شرکت. خیلی متشکرم. خب دوستان بورد یه لحظه بیان یه چند دقیقه کار داریم.
من یه عرض کنم اینو اگه اسکن بکنید میتونید به میلینگ لیست سوتا جوین بشید. ایمیلتون اگه بدید ما قصد داریم تکرار هر ماه مدتش حالا تعیین میکنیم هر ماه هر 2 ماه، ولی برنامه ها رو اونجا اطلاع رسانی میکنیم علاوه بر کانال ارتباطی دیگه. میتونید QR کد رو اسکن
مرسی.
سالی هم که توی مایکروسافت